Preparing to live stream the meeting.
How's your Pokemon going? Not at all. Yeah, I know.
No, it's good. I have like 6 Pokemons that I need to trade you.
Okay. Okay.
I've got a Machoke and Haunter and
Excellent.
Kadabra and what's the main one? Oh, Graveler.
Yeah.
All right, welcome. Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome everybody to the Fantasy Bibles Thanksgiving live show, a rare live show, midweek live show. We don't normally do this, but because there are 3 Thursday night games, and because Bumi is 8-3 on the season, I think this is an opportunity for everybody to make a lot of money. So we thought it would be a good idea to kind of live stream the episode and also reveal the picks that Bumi made earlier today.
Yeah, safe to say Boomy is better than I am. Yeah, say that 5 times fast. Maybe you can. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone if you're here, or if you're not and you watch this after Thanksgiving. Well, that's cool too. Thanks. Hope you had a nice feast and some laughs, some good memories, you know.
And speaking of feasts, what we're going to be doing today is probably our most contrived and low effort bit yet, in which we will be constructing Thanksgiving rosters, sort of like, basically what we did last week with the Avengers, but this time with foods on Thanksgiving, because I think it's a good time to not only get into, some player discussions, but really talk the talk about what are the best Thanksgiving foods and why. And how I sort of approach this is it's like I built a complete roster, but I also only did foods that I would like I built it like I would build my plate. So it's a roster construction exercise, but also a little prep
Smart.
for like how I'm going to go into plate construction tomorrow.
I don't think I took as serious of a roster construction approach. I was just like, oh, this player reminds me of this food that I either love or do not love. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you put down on the table. And then hopefully mine can keep up. That's where I'm at. I'm realizing you took this quite more seriously than I did.
Oh, I did not take it seriously at all, but I wanted to have, so I needed some kind of structural gimmick to sort of tie it together for me. So I'll kick things off here with the quarterback position, which to me
Okay.
is like rolls slash cornbread. Because like to me, like rolls and cornbread are kind of the highest floor Thanksgiving dish. Some families are roll families, other families are cornbread families, some families are mixed. Both are good. And the thing about rolls is there's always enough to go around. There's never a shortage of good rolls at the table. So it made sense to me for the quarterback position because that's probably the most plentiful position in fantasy football. Rolls are also flexible. You can use them to make a turkey sandwich. You can dip them into mashed potatoes and gravy. They could be buttered. They support a lot of other different Thanksgiving assets. And so when I get to the specific quarterback, I went with Tom Brady because he's been rolling over teams for 20 years. He's versatile enough to execute
Okay. Rolling.
a variable playbook. And he's good at supporting other assets like, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who are currently both top 10 wide receivers. So as rolls and cornbread holding things down, I have Tom Brady in the quarterback slot.
Nice. Yeah. He really got rolling when he broke off that 11-yard run. That was pretty cool to see. That's probably like the best run of his career. And he's
Yeah,
44 too.
he like did a little high step there and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see in the interview at the end of the game where they're like, oh, hey, Tom, how about that 10-yard run? He's like, it was 11 yards.
I didn't see the clip, but I saw like a
The
tweet
quote.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty fun. He's having a good time. Yeah, it's a pretty good one. I would argue that rolls get stale pretty fast, and clearly Tom Brady has the shelf life of cranberry sauce. He could survive a post-apocalypse nuclear war and just keep on jiggling. And
That's a good point. But the idea of a fresh roll on Thanksgiving, it's like Tom Brady is perpetually in that state.
yeah, that's fair. I will not start with quarterback for myself, but I will start with. Let's start with mashed potatoes. So mashed potatoes, they have a wide range of outcomes, depending on the skill and the palate of the chef or person who made them. And, you know, they could be soupy, they could be fluffy, they could be bland or savory and loaded, or they could be dry and boring. And this year, Cooper Cup has emerged as the best loaded mashed potatoes you've ever had. And yeah, you didn't know whether it was going to be Cooper Cup or Robert Woods having the better season with incumbent quarterback Matthew Stafford for the Rams. He has proven to be a vast upgrade over Jared Goff. So a lot of speculation was, you know, these receivers will have a high ceiling this year. And I think Robert Woods was drafted in the majority of leagues over Cooper Cup, but here we have Cooper Cup emerging as the delicious side of mashed potatoes that you go back for seconds. And you look at other people that have the mashed potatoes on their plate and you think about stealing those mashed potatoes.
That's a good point. And mashed potatoes are white.
Yes, Nathan. Where are you going with that?
Well, so is Cooper Cup.
Oh, astute observation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think it's only natural that I also talk about mashed potatoes because that's the next thing on my list here. And I think I kind of have a different take on you as with mashed potatoes and gravy. Like I feel like it's the highest floor dish because like to me even instant mashed potatoes are good. I love all forms of the mashed potato.
Yeah.
So I knew one of my running backs was going to be mashed potatoes and gravy because to me it's arguably the most important Thanksgiving dish. Like it's up there for me. It's probably top three if not top two. It holds down the entire plate like the running back position holds down your roster. So it was only a matter of which running back I felt was like the most consistent and reliable. And I landed on Austin Eckler because, you know, like mashed
Nice.
potatoes is always a great consistency and the dish I feel most reliable will be good. And that's how I feel about Austin Eckler. He's the overall RB2 right now. I know Jonathan Taylor is the RB1, but I still think that Eckler is probably in the minds of most people a more consistent fantasy asset. I think Taylor will be drafted over him next year, but I could see Eckler finishing over Taylor, maybe not like reaching that RB1 ceiling, but in that RB3 to RB8 range, which he just seems to inhabit year over year when healthy. So for me, Eckler has been as consistent as they come in the running back game, and he is my Thanksgiving RB1 as mashed potatoes and gravy.
Yeah, he's been doing great this year. He's proving that he could be a top 5 overall draft pick next year for sure in full PPR. But yeah, I think he's looked great on the ground, even using him at the goal line. That's what we didn't really know if they would make the leap to do. They haven't really done that with him a lot in the past. They've always had a bruiser there to just knock it in if they ever got close, but he's getting those carries, those looks, those targets. Yeah, he's exploding. Him and Jonathan Taylor are probably going to win some people fantasy championships this year, assuming they stay healthy. Hope they do. Speaking of Jonathan Taylor, I think he is the ham of your Thanksgiving feast. You didn't arrive knowing if there would be ham or not. Speaking from the fantasy Bible, we didn't know what we would see out of JT. We were arguably very low on him and proven very wrong, and that's fine. We learn. But now that we've arrived to the feast and we see the ham in all its glistening glory, yeah, you made sure to get seconds before it's gone because watching him is just a feast for your eyes. And so you will be getting seconds of Jonathan Taylor this year into next year, and you will cast your vote for MVP for the ham because ham I think is better than turkey, right? Like it's arguably the best protein on Thanksgiving.
Well, I think it's fitting that you chose Jonathan Taylor as ham because I do not like ham at all. I think it's gross. And I was definitely down on Jonathan Taylor preseason. And obviously, I have to acknowledge his greatness now, but I will never acknowledge the greatness of ham. I do not have ham on my roster. To me, it's gross. It has that weird, like, congealy white stuff on it. It's like I don't want my meat to be so sweet.
Okay.
Not a ham guy over here.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
But speaking of running backs, sweet potato casserole. So for me, like mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes are kind of the 1A and 1B of Thanksgiving. So it only makes sense that they correlate to the running back position because like plate construction is to roster construction. To me, like your running back should be the 1A and 1B of your roster. And sweet potato casserole with the toasted marshmallows on top, it's delicious. It's right up there with mashed potatoes for me. It's very good, but it's a lot more indulgent of a dish than sweet potatoes. You can't put as much of it on your plate. And so my running back too is Javonte Williams because the Broncos are only giving him a small slice of that sweet potato pie right now. But the way he's breaking tackles, once they give him a larger scoop of work, it's going to be too much for the league to handle. It's going to send people to the hospital in a mix of diabetic coma and broken ankles. And also, sweet potatoes are orange and the Broncos are orange. So there's color alignment there.
Wow.
So yeah, Javonte Williams, who hasn't really been serving people, at the highest level this year, but has probably been a reliable flex. And if you're in a keeper league or a dynasty league, and he's on your roster, you're feeling really good about going into to next year.
That was a well written side dish there. That I like it. I personally am not a fan at all of sweet potato casserole because, like, all right, you have a sweet potato. Let's put sugar on top of this. Let's make it sweeter. Let's double down.
But sweet potatoes aren't that sweet.
Trash.
No.
Okay, sure, they're not like a lollipop sweet, but they are definitively
Like
sweet.
essentially,
in the name, bro.
Essentially, what you're saying is like
if I had, like if I had,
would you
Kool-Aid,
would you
I'm
make
not
a
adding sugar
cookie?
to my Kool-Aid.
Would you make a cookie without chocolate chips in it because chocolate chips are sweet?
No,
like,
it's a different flavor. Sweet potatoes have that
a
sweet component, and
potato
all you're
is
doing
the
is just
base
dumping sugar on
for
it.
the additional sugar. The way different sugars play together,
It's like
the baked cookie and the chocolate is to the potato base.
It's
the
like
toasted marshmallow. And
no,
sometimes
no,
you
no.
get like the pecans, and you get
You
like a
will
little
never
crunch
sell
in
me on
there.
this. It's maybe
It's
I've never had a good one,
essentially
but
a
it is
hot
trash.
candy bar.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's
No,
all
it's
it's
so
a
good.
pile of mush with extra sugar added to the sugar. It's like if you poured yourself a morning cup of coffee and then you crushed up a caffeine pill in the coffee. Like, just either have
Yeah,
more
that
coffee.
sounds good.
No, no, you don't need to do that. No. You can never convince me that this is worth eating.
So,
I
of
always
your
skip it.
opinion, two sweet things can never go together.
No,
Like,
that's
you don't like strawberry shortcake because strawberries are sweet. Well, your
no.
strawberry is sweet. Why are you taking anything that's already sweet and
No,
you're
but those
putting
have two
shortbread
separate
on it?
flavors. Those have two separate flavors.
So do
My point is,
marshmallows and sweet potatoes.
marshmallows is sugar and air. Like, it's, and the sweet potatoes have the
There's
sweetness
marshmallow
to them.
root. The marshmallow root is the flavor.
What are you talking about?
That's
Okay.
what
All
do you
I'm
think?
saying
Marshmallows
is,
are just sugar and air. It's derived from marshmallow root. That's how
well,
you can get marshmallow flavoring without gelatin.
so you're telling me those dollar bag for like 500 marshmallows are marshmallow root? I don't think there's any realness to them at all.
Okay, well, it's synthesized marshmallow root in those ones, but it's still marshmallow root. It still has a distinct flavor. This guy, marshmallows don't have flavor.
All right. All I'm saying is, if you walk through my door on Thanksgiving Day with a sweet potato casserole, I'll be like, "Oh, thanks so much," and then I'll never look at it again and put it in the back of the table, so hopefully nobody sees it. That's
And it'll be empty by the end of the night because
it. Probably will. People love it.
I
don't understand it. This is why we have a problem with diabetes in this country.
Who's your next player?
All right. Now that I'm all heated, it's a good time to go into cranberry sauce because, all right, you put it on your plate at a tradition and you don't really know why, but it just doesn't have a place here anymore. All right. It's 2021. We can change things. It's time to move on. It's gross to look at. It's gross to eat. It's gelatinous and unhealthy. It's Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, what are you doing, man? Retire. We don't need you here anymore. You're taking a victory lap and making it, you're putting your team on the line right now.
Well, you talk about like plate construction.
Yeah.
Cranberry sauce. If you have cranberry sauce on your plate, it's like the way Ben Roethlisberger limits the assets on his team is the same way cranberry sauce like limits the rest of your plate because it's taking real estate the way he's taking valuable playing time away from Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, and these people that could be top 15 wide receivers if they just had someone that could throw more than 20 yards without the ball starting to, wobble down to earth.
Yeah, and like Chase Claypool's like the gravy on that offense. He's a tool, a weapon that they could unleash. But you can't put gravy on cranberry sauce. So why do we have cranberry sauce?
Yeah, it doesn't go with anything. Yeah.
Come on. Oh, all right. I needed to get that off my chest. Yeah.
Also, we got Alex Brown in the chat. Shout out Alex Brown.
Hey, thank you for joining us.
I real quick, I'll just give my cranberry sauce. I have them as kickers because get it off your plate and get them out of your league.
Okay, that's fair. Short and concise. It doesn't need to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured we should address the cranberry sauce holistically, so we don't have to talk about it anymore. All right, wide receiver. At the wide receiver position, let's talk about turkey.
Okay.
So you touched on it a little bit earlier, and to me, turkey is probably one of the most overrated Thanksgiving foods.
Agree.
but a lot of people feel the need to have it on their plate. It's something that to me, when it's all coated in rosemary and thyme and it's being basted with all those sweet turkey juices, it's something that looks a lot better than it actually ends up being. But when it's good, and when it's like smoked, or when this player is smoking corners, it's really good. So the turkey on my plate is DK Metcalf, who is a vital part of any fantasy squad, but doesn't really or hasn't really performed to expectations this year and can be really good. He's also a Seahawk. So turkey, birds. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
All
But
right.
and then there's like something I didn't really get quite as far with the metaphor, but there's something about how like turkey's not really good without gravy. And so Russell Wilson is kind of like could be the gravy, and Russ isn't playing well, so the turkey's bad as well. And yeah, that's my DK Metcalf turkey take.
That's fair. Yeah, he's at least for this season in fantasy, he's vastly overrated. He didn't really pan out. Yeah, Turkey DK. All right, chew on that. I'll go for my turkey. I have a lot of similar takes as you as far as the food goes. It's necessary. It's tasty when done right, but it's truly overrated. And unfortunately, it disappoints a lot of people when it is not great because everyone's putting it on their plate. It's tradition, like we said. So Christian McCaffrey, you had to
That's a
out
good
of
one.
out of necessity, you had to draft him 101. It's just consensus. It's got to happen. Thanksgiving and turkey is like 101 in Christian McCaffrey, right? So, but you got it on your plate and it was a bit dry, pulled his hamstring a little bit and then fell apart, not in a good way, not in a savory way, in a oh, this something's not right with this. And then
No.
you're stuck with it on your plate. You're holding it on your plate until you're almost done with your plate. You're almost through the fantasy football season. And it's finally, you're a little hungry. You're pretty hungry now. You got to finish your plate if you want to go get seconds, but you don't know if you want to.
Yeah, the other thing is like turkey's always better the next day. Like you can make those delicious turkey sandwiches.
Mhm.
And just like Christian McCaffrey's getting healthy, but like too little, too late. Like
Yeah.
where were you, 6 weeks ago? So I like that take there. I guess I'll follow up with my wide receiver 2 spot. Uh Devontae Smith, string beans. I don't think I need to go into any more detail there.
Nice. Oh man. All right, I got one for mac and cheese. So is mac and cheese a Thanksgiving food? You're probably thinking.
No,
No, it is not.
I agree with
Um,
Matthew Judon on this one.
yeah, I did see that. That was funny, and that was after I wrote this take as well. But so I'd say, is Cordarrelle Patterson supposed to be an RB1?
No,
No,
he's not.
no,
Yeah,
he's not.
yeah. It's a
But you
fries
know
all
what?
reason.
I'm glad they're both here because, frankly, I need them based on how I've been let down by other dishes and other players this season, and it just
Okay.
really has like put a band-aid on my entire Thanksgiving feast. If I can just, kind of relax and eat some mac and cheese, I know it's going to be decent, and frankly, it's quite good. It's one of the better options on my plate based on my disappointing construction of cranberry sauce, dry turkey, and you know, I made some mistakes in the draft, let's say, and Cordarrelle Patterson is holding it together. He's filling my belly with fantasy points, and I hope he gets healthy soon because I truly enjoy that arc he's going on.
Good stuff. This is the part of the roster where to me it's like, all right, what else am I fitting onto this plate here? I felt that like you got to have some vegetables on your plate or your mom will yell at you. So you have to have a tight end on your roster. It's
Mm.
not exciting, it's not fun, but you got to have the veggies, you got to have the tight end. And I chose Brussels sprouts specifically um, because I really like them. They're not the most popular, but they're green, just like Dallas Goedert, who is seemingly always outside elite tight end status, but I think he just needs the right combination of factors to get there. Like if you've ever had Brussels sprouts in like a balsamic honey glaze with bacon bits, all of a sudden they're not just this, dull, bitter, chewy thing anymore. They're like little like candy poppers. So you're just popping in there, you're racking up points. And so Dallas Goddard, who I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Like I think from like if you're in a dynasty or keeper league, you're feeling pretty good about Dallas Goedert because he obviously just signed the 4-year extension. He's going to be a core of that young Philadelphia team moving forward. But like the divorce happens, right? Like Ertz goes to uh,
Arizona.
Arizona, and Dallas stays in Philly, and we have this expectation that this is going to unlock both their potentials, and Ertz will now be startable, but Dallas Goedert is going to skyrocket into tight end one territory. And it's almost been the opposite. Like
It is, yeah.
Zach Ertz had 88 yards and 2 touchdowns last week, and looks like a good part of that offense, no matter who's throwing the ball. And obviously, Goddard is a pretty big factor in the Philly offense as well. But just because of like the way that offense is structured right now with pass volume, he's not getting the like what he should be. But you can tell by watching him on the field that the talent is there. Like there's never a play where he doesn't have separation on a linebacker. Like you need to put your corners on Dallas Goedert. So I am very excited to
For your
see what he
Brussels
does.
sprouts.
Yeah, for my Brussels sprouts to see what he does like going forward. And I think he's going to be good value in drafts next year because he's not like putting up the numbers in an offense that throws for 180 yards a game. But that could very much change depending on how the quarterback situation changes in Philly. So yeah, that's my tight end. Brussels sprouts, Dallas Goedert.
I do think Brussels sprouts are a vastly misunderstood vegetable because when they are cooked right and seasoned right, they are one of the best vegetables, similar to grilled asparagus or, just something smoky and with texture and depth of flavor. Yeah, they're very good. Very good. I don't have any more scripted ones, but let's see what I got for pumpkin pie. All right. I don't know how you pie fans are going on out there, but so this,
Well, wait, real quick.
yeah,
So sweet potato pie or pumpkin pie? Like if you had to pick.
pumpkin pie, but I
Mm.
don't like pumpkin pie.
Oh, see, so you just haven't been having enough sweet potato pie.
No, I've had it. Let that be known. That's why I know I despise it.
Oh, it's so good, dude. It's just
I
like
know.
rich sweet potatoes, cinnamons, nutmegs. It's so good.
Yeah, it's like I'll have dessert later. I don't need it on my plate with my gravy and potatoes and turkey.
Well, you're not putting pumpkin pie on your plate with that.
No, 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 exactly. Pumpkin pie is sweet pie for dessert, and
Right. I'm talking about sweet
sweet
potato
potato
pie.
pie.
Not sweet potato casserole, sweet potato pie.
Oh, sorry. I got too heated from earlier about the sweet
Yeah.
potato casserole.
So sweet potato pie is like where
I've
you
never
take the
had a
sweet
sweet potato pie.
potato
Yeah.
and you blend it up with like cream and spices so it's more like a pie
Hmm.
filling, and then you make it, and it's basically the exact same
Okay.
texture as like a potato pie, but or excuse me, a pumpkin
Pumpkin pie.
pie.
Ooh,
But
potato
I just
pie.
I just like the flavor way more on the sweet potato.
How about
Uh,
shepherd's pie? Can we work that into Thanksgiving? I love shepherd's
I
pie.
don't know. That's gross, dude.
No, it's delicious. What do you mean?
Nah, I'm
All
not
right,
a
all
big
right.
savory pie guy. I don't like a chicken pot pie or something
Well, all right, all right. Agree to disagree. Anyways, pumpkin pie. So this guest showed up with they were about to show up with nothing, but they showed up late because they pulled off into Walmart with the 500 other people in the checkout line, and they picked up a $2 pumpkin pie just to have something to walk in the door. And I'm still deciding as I say this what that player will be. And it
um,
was
it
it
was like a
was
last minute audition to an offense that's
it
really
was
juicy.
OBJ. How
It was
about
OBJ. It's
that?
the Rams because
Yeah,
yeah, the Walmart pie is not going to be great, but at least the pie is there.
it's
I don't know.
something.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
something.
yeah, all right.
All right. My last one is for defense. I have stuffing because similarly to turkey, I feel like I have to eat it on Thanksgiving, even though I don't really like it. I think it has a much lower floor than turkey. Just like defense has a low floor, and I've always felt that defense is an important part of the fantasy lineup because you look at the whole NFL landscape when you're doing it. But I also hate the work that goes into streaming defenses for limited rewards. I always find that stuffing is a really limited reward when you're eating it. I just don't like its consistency. I don't like the way it tastes, but it's seemingly omnipresent. And so my defense is the Patriots defense because man, they find a way to be startable and at least half their games in a season, no matter what season it is. And I also wanted to give them a shout out for scoring me 31 points last week.
Yeah, shout out to the 2019 Patriots defense cameo they had last week. That was pretty crazy. Definitely won
Yeah.
some people weeks. As far as stuffing goes, man, there's nothing that makes me more angry than stuffing. I think
Oh, you
I'm
don't like
just,
it either?
oh no, it's terrible.
Oh, okay,
Like,
good. Because I think it's really gross. Yeah.
yeah, let's talk about texture. Okay, it has none. It is
It's
gummy. It is
mush. It's
mushy.
mush. Yeah. It's
It's like
rubbery.
baby food. Like baby birds eat stuffing in trees when they're first born. Their mother pukes it back up into their mouth, and that is what stuffing is. Like, get it out.
Have you ever had bread pudding?
I have, and that's very hit or miss. I've had one
So
good one, yeah, and then I've had some very dry and inedible ones.
yeah, it can be bad. And like imagine like a bad bread pudding, which is still edible because it's sweet, but imagine it like all of a sudden it's like savory flavored and it's like salty, but it's still that
Yeah,
mushy texture.
and there's never enough flavor to back up the lack of texture. It's just like, oh, here's a bit of salt and herbs and pepper and mush. No.
So sometimes my mom will make a cranberry stuffing that's a little bit better because it's like the cranberries are in there
Okay.
to give it some, I don't know, pop. But yeah, I'm glad that we are both we can agree on stuffing.
Oh yeah.
Get it out of here. You know
Get
what's
it this.
crazy is like the whole thing is stuffing is like it goes in the turkey. Like I don't think people do that anymore because I don't think it's
No.
like yeah, what's the word? Sanit like I don't think it's
It's a
safe.
it's a risk for, yeah, foodborne illness. Like,
Yeah.
you basically have to be checking the temperature of the stuffing before you serve it, because obviously the raw turkey juices are dripping and soaking into that. So if that is not 170 degrees like the turkey, then you are serving, yeah, potentially salmonella.
Yeah. Yeah. Get it out of here. All right. Are we ready to reveal these Boomy picks?
I would love to. I would love to know how to make a lot of money this weekend, because I've spent a considerable amount of money buying alcohol and food for many people.
Yeah. And I have spent considerable amount of money on bets that I have not won.
Oh, same. Yeah.
Okay. Dane, can you see the screen? Because if you can see it, then the good people can see it.
I can see it. Let me full screen to be sure. Yes, it looks great. It looks great, man.
Okay. Hopefully you can hear it too. Can you hear it?
I do not hear anything yet.
Okay. Probably should have tested this beforehand. Let's go over here and we'll go through that speaker.
I hope it's Always Sunny intro music right now.
It is not. I just picked a very random iMovie soundtrack. Thanksgiving game day slate, kicking things off with the Bears and Lions. Single milk on the logo of each team. There's sound effects.
Oh, is he doing the juggling act again? Oh,
Yeah,
this is
but he kept
okay.
it short.
Goes for the Bears. He has to weigh them against each other. Okay, so Bears.
Cowboys Thursday afternoon, 7-point spread.
There's not a great Raiders logo, but good job, I guess. That looks like Patrick Star more than it does an actual star. But
oh, no comments on the Bumi control, the open gate.
yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Okay, Thursday night game. Thanksgiving slate is Bills at Saints. Yeah, single milk on.
I do my own research. Okay.
Great.
It seems like he gets the one on the left every time.
Yeah.
Do you use that to your advantage to sway the outcome?
No, because I always do away home.
Oh.
I always do away on the left and home on the right, so it's like consistent.
Okay.
Because otherwise he doesn't always go to the one on the left, and I've like tried it in different ways where it's like, but there are times when it's like he has to go past the one on the right to get to the one on the left, and he still goes to the one on the left. So I don't know what's going on there, but
he clearly knows what he's doing because he's 7-3. And
right. Like I was a little disappointed he didn't go for any on the right because that would make it seem like more like he's spending the time to, like pick them. But yeah, like at 8-3 or whatever, like, yeah, we just got to trust.
We doubt him?
We got to trust. So yeah, so it's Bears, Raiders, and
Cowboys,
Bills. And
Right. Yeah.
Raiders is the one I feel the worst about. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, me too. Although the
yeah,
Cowboys are in a slump of their own, so you never know. It could just continue, and the Raiders could. They only need to cover, so they don't
yeah,
need to
and
win.
it's a 7 point spread, so it's it's they've got a good shot. But yeah, that's the one I feel worst about. And I also feel like this could be the game the Lions win. Like I might just hedge with the Lions money line bet.
That would be a fantastic Thanksgiving thing to watch. Like they're the noon game, right?
Yeah, they're the noon game, and definitely got to be the only primetime game that the Lions are playing in this year. So I imagine they're pretty juiced up for it. I mean, I don't know if you could call it primetime, but you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
I think there was somebody asked Dan Campbell in an interview, like, "Are you guys pumped to make a statement on primetime football?" And he's like, "What do you mean they're not going to flex any of our other games into primetime?"
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw that. I saw that.
I was like, all right, at least he's still able to crack a joke in an abysmal franchise. So good luck to the Lions. I would like to see that.
Yeah. And then Bills, they've been in a slump, but I think they can cover. I mean, if the Eagles can cover against the Saints, then I feel like the Bills got to be able to cover against the Saints.
I mean, they better, man. Otherwise, we can really start to panic.
Have we talked about the Eagles? I don't think we have since we haven't botted since this weekend.
Yeah, we haven't. They are now very much in the playoff race, like pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, their point differential for when they beat teams is 19 points.
Wow.
And now the teams that they've blown out have not been good teams. It's been the Falcons, the Lions, and arguably the Saints. But man, it's just nice. Like you saw the Jalen Hurts juke.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was pretty great.
Yeah, it's nice to see that kind of stuff. Although not sold on him as the future quarterback, but I think he'll be the 22 starter.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards that as well. They probably will keep him unless something greater pops into play. But he unlocks a certain part of the offense that a lot of offense don't have, other than Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray type offenses. So yeah, I mean it's been fun to watch. Even if he's not playing the best NFL football certain weeks, it's at least great for fantasy. So don't doubt him at all as finishing top 3 or 4, probably top 3 quarterback rest of the season, really.
And how are you feeling about Mac Jones as a Patriots fan?
He's like the polar opposite of who we just talked, Jalen Hurts, like both
Yeah,
in the NFL and for fantasy. Like you can't really play him in fantasy unless you're desperate, but he's looked great on the NFL field as far as what you expect from a quarterback. His future, I think it's great. I think the offense they're giving him to work with is setting himself up to succeed, and he's proving to not make the same rookie mistakes that a lot of other quarterbacks do, like we've seen Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence make. And all of them really have made so many mistakes, and that's fine. That's expected. It's part of
that's
your
what they
growth.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just seems like he's a second or third year rookie. Like he seems more polished, more calm, more collected.
He reminds me so much of Kirk Cousins. Like it just seems like he's already at like a basically a Kirk Cousins level. Now, like the thing about Cousins is he like folds under pressure, and like there are like game situations that like we need to see Mac Jones in to see like what are like the intangibles and stuff like that. But from like
Yeah,
a play style of just like kind of dissecting defenses from the pocket and limiting mistakes, it's very Cousins-esque to me, which I think most teams would be thrilled to draft Kirk Cousins, in the middle of the first round.
yeah, I would agree. I'm very happy with that pick. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do when they truly unlock his potential. Because obviously I believe that he's playing in a limited offense, and that's fine because it's working. They know their strengths, they know their weaknesses. When they start to develop him as more of a deep passer, like at least work some of those plays in more. That is what I'm looking forward to. I want to see his first 4 touchdown game where he, leads a 2-minute drill and they win 33-31, something like that. Would be
Yeah, where
great.
he just takes over and it's like the Mac Jones statement game, and he's not
That's
just
yeah.
a cog. Yeah. But man, Josh McDaniels, like he will probably be the next coach of the Patriots. Like he'll probably just stay there, but I would not be surprised if someone poaches him and hires him as a like it's just like like it's all the Brady, like he had all the Brady stuff, and so everyone was like, oh, we don't want the guy that had Brady, because Brady probably made him good, but then he like rebuilds the offense around Cam last year for better or for worse, and then he rebuilds it again around Mac Jones, and it's like working. It just seems like the offensive staff there is incredible.
Yeah, I got to put a lot of it on the coaching, to set that offense up to succeed. Yeah, very. I didn't expect to enjoy too much Patriots football this year. I was tempering my expectations, but I'm very, very glad I was wrong, and that while it might not be the flashiest football in the league, it is winning football, and there are some good running plays to watch there with Stevenson and Harris. So I'm enjoying it.
All right. We can wrap this thing up, although we do have one question we're going to get to in the chat from Alex Brown. Is Daryl Williams overcooked turkey, or is he salvageable? To me, I would say he's dried out at this point, probably.
Yeah, I don't think you can just dunk that dry turkey back in water again unless Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets injured. That's really what he is now. He's a very, very good handcuff. We've seen what he can do when he's given the role, but he's clearly the backup at this point. So
there's not room in that offense for more than one running back, if that. And right now, CH is that running back.
Yeah, I think it's only worth rostering him if you are the Clyde Edwards-Helaire owner, or if you just desperately need a lotto ticket to win you like your way into the playoffs. So I don't think he's rosterable unless you have Clyde.
All right. Well, everybody, happy Thanksgiving. We hope you win lots of money on Bumi's picks. And I guess we'll be back on Sunday for the live show probably. So
I think so.
Yeah, we'll see you then. And then obviously we're not doing a Thursday episode because it is Thanksgiving. Enjoy the football and the mashed potatoes and the sweet potato casserole.
Yeah, get it out of here. Thanks, guys.